plays as flat as they did it in the first series, they're not going to have much hope. They are going to have to, I believe they're going to have to take Li Jiang if they want to have any chance of winning this tournament.
Well, the biggest thing, too, is that with the one-game advantage coming in here from the side of Immortals, if they do win this map, they are already up to, they would have to lose 3 straight. Really difficult for that to be a thing. So the team coming in from the upper bracket definitely has quite a bit of an edge here, but we are going to be getting in the game. It is Immortals versus C9. Sorry for some of the tech difficulties there. That's what happens with me. If you get me on my production rhythm because I have to restart because of something ridiculous, then weird things happen, like Hex not only being Tiny Hex, but also being very unaudible Hex.
Well, I think DreamHack proved that I am in real life Tiny Hex anyway. But like that's not entirely true. Like you and Kaplan are giants. Like I'm like below average human being, but you guys are above average human being size. So like somewhere in the middle, there's a normal person. Regardless, we are on Lijiang Tower. This is a stage where Shore4 has dominated early on. I just had the camera on him again on the last control maps. His Mei has been something that they have to deal with. Right now, like Immortals did get the better side of this against Cloud9, but Cloud9 is coming in hot. So this could go anyone's way.
Absolutely, in C9, they are going in. Both teams actually just trading off, very similar position to start things off. You take a look at Immortals, they're using the D.Va to win the shield battle early on. Rib gonna find himself in a rough position already, has to back out, but does get that kill onto Ethan with the Fire Strike, so C9 bring it right back. But Grim Reality, this is where he can shine, but not when Shore4 comes in with the Icicle to the head. So it is very back and forth between both sides, and C9, in no small part due to that last Icicle shot by Shore4, will be pulling it back and getting first control.
Yep, Mei got nerfed a little bit. Her ult does not charge as quickly, otherwise Shore4 might have his Blizzard up already, but already at 65% just because his Icicles are on point. He rarely misses. He's probably about 60 to 70% accuracy on those things.
Alrighty, so C9 right now hanging on to the point, and this is where Shore4 really can utilize the control of his Mei, where he can either get a wall off onto the bridge or a wall off to them as they go through the room. And right now, I don't know if he was going for a split off there or not. Will only delay them with that wall. The hook does come in through the gap, but here's the Blizzard coming out from Shore4, going to nail at least 3 in here. Does get slept and taken out of the point, so Immortals still dealing with this pretty well. 5v5 as the fight breaks down.
Transcendence on point will mean that they should be able to lock this out. There should not be a whole lot of deaths coming on here. Both tanks on the left-hand side are going to get cleaned up, though. Kai does kill Nomi. Agility is things better of trying to fight gets off. A very interesting self-destruct came in from Hype there. Did get Kai oddly enough, so Hype has to feel pretty decent about that, because it seemed like the fight had already been lost, and we know he's not going to be switching off of that D.Va, so Hype is going to go around the big pack side while everyone else comes off bridge. This is a little bit of an interesting strategy. Generally, teams don't break up like this.
No, definitely not. And here's the thing, Mendo holding on to that whole hog, but hold the phone. Here comes Nami, drops the Earth Shatter, knocks down 2, and Immortals making their push in off of that Reinhardt play. But Shore4 going to be applying a little bit more control on the Mei. Does get the freeze, but his team is dying all around him, and it's Agilities. We know him for crazy Roadhog play earlier in the day and yesterday. Does it here once more, picks up 3. And oh, did he get this? He did get it! Shore4 knocked right into the pit. What a god.
Agilities has had just games and a half on his Roadhog. It has been something that every team needs to have, that Roadhog ace in the hole. For the last couple of matches, Mendo has looked a lot more comfortable on the Roadhog. He's going to have to get super comfortable on it to try to win this Hog v Hog, but guys like Agilities, even Connor J we saw yesterday, have really leveled up their Roadhog game, and right now in this current meta, you have to have a standout Roadhog.
You really do, and now Agility's holding on to that whole hog here. Gonna be using it to break the Reinhardt shield perhaps in just a moment. For now, Immortals are not really pushing this. They're making C9 come into them, and I think for good reason. They don't want to get split off by Shore4 and his Mei. Mei having more difficulties going in when on the offense, but Agilities gets charged into the backline, will find time to take a breather. So still back and forth, and it's Hyped that's actually really deep in, does find a way of disengaging, and C9 just bleeding players one after the other. Not anything big here, just they overextend and they get punished. Uh-oh, Hex, are you there?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, hotkeys went nuts. Yeah, as you mentioned, not doing anything super out of the ordinary, just kind of basic fighting here. They haven't used any ultimates, which is why they have such a war chest now. 5 ults up compared to the 2 of Cloud9. Cloud9 still with the advantage overall percentage-wise, but they have to win this fight and the next one to really secure the map.
Here comes the self-destruct in from Hype going to the backline. Still finds Mendo, but that's not the story. The story is Nomi rolls in with the Earth Shadow, swings the hammer, picks up 3. And Immortals, they are fighting this back here, Hex. Remember, C9 started out very strong, and now C9 find themselves on the back foot. They're only going to have one more push left to put this back in their favor. Now, they do have Rib with the Earth Shatter. They have Mendo with the whole hog, and Rib, he's been big for C9 here today. Gets the Earth Shatter in, knocking down 2, and C9 gonna be trying to bring this right back.
Agilities during that did take down Adam, so it's a nice equalizing hook there. Agilities is taken out eventually by Short4. Hype takes down Rolf, so it's very back and forth on the point. Short4 is still looking for more. Finds Ethan frozen and killed. It is just getting down to a brawl. 3v3, but the reinforcements might come in a little bit quicker for Immortals here as there's people coming in over the bridge.
People are coming over the bridge. Kai still trying to fight it out here for C9. Remember, C9, this is do or die for them. They cannot back out. We are in overtime. If they stop touching the point, the round will go the way of Immortals. And Immortals, they get the cleanup they're looking for and will evict C9. And that's a bit of a heartbreaker there for C9, given how things start out. And I do question one thing here, Slasher, and I'm curious what you think. Do you think they stayed on the Mei too long there, especially when they were still trying to retake the point for that long of a time?
I'm not necessarily sure if that was it, but Short4 died with ult. So why not just use it and try to get an extra kill there? That last battle was so close that maybe 1 or 2 extra kills would have secured the victory, and they already had 75%. So I don't necessarily think that staying on Mei was too long, but maybe not using the ult was a big part of that.
Alright, so we're going to be moving into the Sanctum phase here. Short4 still looking to be on that Mei, and I'm totally okay with that for this particular stage, so long as they're not stuck trying to fight back. If C9 can get first control, obviously we can see the Mei really control the entire aspect of the round, but if not, maybe you should consider swapping off, going to McCree something else. But either way, the fight is underway early on in Agilities, finds Mendo Kusai very early on here. Short4 and Rib fighting right back, so it is 4v4. It is getting a little bit more discombobulated here, but Hype still in decent health, going to the backline, and has been a real terror here on this Diva. Gonna attract the attention of 4 members of C9, but while that's happening, what happens? Grim Reality comes in from the back, finds Kai, and Immortals well on their way to taking this point.
I think Mendo was kind of voting that they should go double flanker. He had switched on to Genji very much earlier. I think he got outvoted as, you know, not the senior member of Cloud9 there, so they did switch off at running mostly mirror matches right now. And as you mentioned, Grim Reality with the cleanup, a lot of primary fires and right clicks there coming in through him towards the end to really knock it off. Nomi's about to have his Earthshatter up. That means he was swinging very big because Rib's only at 50%.
C9 right now definitely find themselves in a bit of trouble here, but there's a hook from Mendo, pulls Nomi all the way back, but oh no, has he gone too much there? Nomi gets a 3-man Earthshatter. The fall through not necessarily there though, as Immortals slowly but surely starting to get pushed back, but they're not giving this up without a fight here, Hex. They're still going to be stalling things out. They're going to make C9 at least get one more big pick off, and here comes Grim Reality, nano boost on him, here comes Hog, going to be pushing 2 people back. That's a ride Reinhardt does not want to go on, and even though this is still a losing fight for Immortals, they're buying themselves an awful lot of time.
They did buy themselves a lot of percentage. Unfortunately, they did get off the point during that, so now they're fighting down people, and they don't have control of the point, which is not a winning proposition. They should have stayed on the point if they wanted to continue to try to stall out up here. They did not, so that 14% that Cloud9 has is 14% that likely could have been in Immortals' bank if they had just positioned themselves a little stronger on that point. They did not, so this is the position we're in. Agility's about to have Blizzard, Hype is about to have a self-destruct, and there is a sound barrier up, so they should have all the tools they need to take this back.
Well, the problem is Kai is going to open up here with the Graviton, pulling in 3 members of Immortals, if not more, and all of C9 swarming in on that, but they don't get any pickoffs from it. Instead, it's Grim Reality punishing Rib, and it is even here on the point. Mendo going to try and bring it back. Whole Hog right in Nomi, going to be pushing him back, looking for a hook here in just a moment. Does find the hook on the Lucio, and that is absolutely massive for C9. Mendo will fall, but enough damage has been done. C9 has numbers advantage, and Short4 is just going to slowly finish this off as C9 now about 2 team fights away from taking this round.
Yeah, Mendo has had a very solid Roadhog game himself, and Grim Reality has had a decent one. They've switched off, actually. Agilities was one playing it last time, so I don't know if not having a super dedicated Roadhog hurts them. Trying to switch off on pools we've seen actually hurt teams here and there, so kind of interesting. Mendo gets this very first hook, brings Agilities in, but unable to finish that kill as the Earthshatter came down. Very bloody down there, but it's mostly C9 getting the better part of this as Short4 and Mendo combined for 3.
And for C9, they are now one fight away from taking this round, and they really do restabilize here, and it's been a team effort. Surefour, I mean, he's had some good moments, but it hasn't been all him. Mendo's had some very important hooks over the last little bit, and Kaikai has still been great, both on shields and for Graviton, so going to this next fight, it is a little bit rough for Immortals, but they must rush in. They throw it down the Blizzard and get nothing from it. They do bait out the Sound Barrier at the very least, but you need to get a little bit more for your Blizzard, regardless. Grim Reality on the Tracer, going to be looking for hooks in the back line. 5 versus 5 here, Hex. We'll see if he can do it.
It's very odd so many times that the Reinhardt's getting kind of boosted, but not going after things without that speed boost. He knows he's just going to get kited, so they're using it more as like a heal, or if he's right in the fracas already. Nomi got boosted and just kind of chilled with it most of the time. They're luckily probably not going to need it as there's only 3 alive, but Graviton comes in late though, trying to make something out of nothing here is Kaikai. They know they have to just win this one more fight.
Well, for now, Hyped is buying a lot of time here for Immortals, attracting all the attention from C9. While it's going on, you have Grim Reality coming in off the flank, doing quite a bit of damage here on this Tracer, and Immortals, with their backs against the wall, they're able to retake this, and for C9, they have to be hoping that this isn't deja vu all over again, where C9, they came out really strong in the last map, ended up losing it in the end. And for Immortals, they're only 2 fights away here, actually really not that far away. Grim Reality on a mission, coming in the backline, holding on to Pulse Bomb, holding it, throws it out, doesn't get the pickoff he's looking for. Adam, though, still is a little bit low, doesn't feel comfortable going in, and that's huge.
It did so much damage, but the fact that it was so far in the backline means that there's not going to be anyone there to clean up. Both these Blizzards catch some people, but again, they're both being blizzed, so no one is there to clean up. Mendo grabs a couple. That is both supports down. This should be Cloud9's fight.
It should be, and yet Agilities and Grim Reality are still up. They're still moving in and around. C9 does retake control of the point, but Immortals still has at least a little bit of a prayer to bring this back, but they are going to need some heroism here. And with Agilities and Nomi going down, oh no! They're not able to get to a point in time. Verbo and Grim, so close yet so far, but I will say there that for as good as Grim did for them to retake the point, he did sort of whiff it there towards the end where he had a great opportunity to Pulse Bomb. Ana wasn't even looking at him, and I hate to use this phrase because it's so overused, but I would call that a bit of a choke.
Not great. So tied up 1-1, de facto best of 3 here on Li Jiang. Of course, the 1-0 advantage you see is not because Immortals won a map while we were experiencing technical difficulties. It's because they did not lose a set tonight. So they stayed in the winner's bracket all the way. We reward the winner's bracket winner with a +1 game. We feel it's fair around here. It has worked out in the past. We have seen people come out of the lower bracket and do reverse sweeps. We have seen anything happen in the monthly melee. So that's where we're at right now. 1-1 on the stage. Map, rather.
All right, so any team's game here as we move on to the one and only night market. Immortals getting onto the point for C9, taking a little bit more time, and the beautiful flashbang over the top sets up Rib. Rib, nothing he could do there, took way too much damage, and that's just good solid McCree play coming out here from Grim Reality. 2 kills from Immortals, and they're going to be pushing back C9 here. Not a whole lot you can do when you lose a Reinhardt that early, especially in this meta where characters like Roadhog are that oppressive.
Yeah, Grim Reality with a couple bit of a cleanup there too. He's been on his McCree game all night. What a treat it is to see Grim Reality versus Surefour. If they do get in direct cowboy duels, that'll be one that we want to make a clip of course, because they are 2 of the best McCrees in the game. Ethan already has his boost up, which means he's been doing a ton of work on the Ana. Of note, though, Cloud9 not running an Ana of their own. Ethan unable to get that boost off because Surefour hits him in the dome.
Still relatively even between both teams. Surefour might be a good cowboy, but he went down to Agilities there. So C9, they're going to start moseying onto the point. They don't have a gigantic number advantage, so it's not going to be as quick of a take as they'd want. That said, Grim Reality doesn't have a whole lot of meat in front of him, and Kaikai takes advantage, moves in, gets a quick kill, and C9 will retake control. 32% to 4%. And now the question is for C9, will they be able to hold on here? If they lose the point here, Hex, it's not the end of the world, but they are going to have to hold for quite a while, nonetheless.
Yeah, it's kind of not really indicative of Cloud9 to be holding as far back as they are right now. Generally, they're right up at that door. Of course, maybe not having the Mei is something to do with it, but they like to hold very far forward. But this is an aggressive Immortals team, so they're giving them some space.
And speaking of space right now, Surefour is getting a lot of space to do whatever he wants here in the back line. Now, the Transcendence was used by C9. They don't get any kills off it. That's a bit of a win coming in from Immortals. Surefour, though, just going to hang out here in the back, looking to deal it damage. Has to back out a bit from the self-destruct, but look at this Deadeye. It's great positioning. Skulls are coming up, and does grab the Lucio if nothing else. Still, though, he has work to do. His team getting bullied out by Agilities. Agilities is falling. He's in a one-on-one here with this D.Va. Going to use the health pack to his advantage. Picks up the health pack and still lives. However, his team not fearing anywhere near as well.
Yeah, everyone else had already died. The silver lining here for Cloud9 is that they did not end up burning ultimates in a losing battle, so they're going to have a huge ultimate advantage. 3 up for them. The 3 tank ultimates up, you know, regardless, that's an amazing boon to their ultimate bank. 1 should only come out. You don't want to use 2. There's the grab. They used 2.
Comes in and Kai there for the cleanup. Rib swinging the hammer, literally throwing people out of that Graviton. 4 kills here from C9. And it's been very back and forth. Now, both teams effectively in the zone where they only need 2 big team fights. And neither team really all that high up on ult charge, so this next fight going to be a little bit more by the book. There is a nano boost that can come out, but short of that, this very well could decide the game, and it's going to be a mostly ult-free experience.
Look, maybe I'm trying to find flaws where they don't exist, but did you need 3 ultimates to win that fight? Did you need Graviton, Earthshatter, and Whole Hog to win that fight? So Cloud9's been kind of wasteful on ults all night, and that's a habit they don't want to be making. Like that, I don't know. I mean, they won the fight, good for them, but that's something we need to look at moving forward.
Absolutely, and for now, Immortals are playing the smart. They have basically given up 1 push by how long they're waiting, but they did bait some key ultimates out of C9. They find Rib early on before the Transcends can save him. It was a late Transcends from Rulf, and now for Immortals, it gives them the 65 opportunity where Grim Reality, looking for the Deadeye in the back, doesn't get the happy little skull he's looking for, but has zoned people out enough, gets the final kill. So Immortals, they're going to be coming in and retaking this point.
Yeah, you know what would have stopped Nomi on his Reign of Terror, and Earthshatter would have been really nice there. All right, I'll leave it alone for now, but Nomi has actually been really impressing me tonight. I feel he's on the precipice of becoming one of those top-tier Rhines. He just needs to be a little more consistent. He's got games where he shows up huge, and you're calling his name, but then he's got games where, who is Nomi? So he's on the verge. I think he's had one of his best series tonight. Looks really good. Cleaned up most of that fight with the boost onto him from the Ana. This next fight will decide this stage.
It absolutely will. Surefour coming in over the top. Gonna open up the Deadeye. Had a skull for a moment. Wasn't able to get it right away, but does get Agilities. Agilities couldn't get through the doorway. And now 6v5 for C9. Immortals gonna have to find a way of pulling this back, but they have no answer for Surefour. He's already picked off 2. They get the hook towards the very end, and it might be all but over here. As C9, they flood onto the point, and there's just no response possible, really, from some Immortals. Oh, as I say that, Agilities is looking for the miracle towards the very end. C9 throwing it away! Oh my goodness, here come Immortals!
Hype's got 2 in his self-destruct, which was brutal. Then they kept both of their DPS alive. Grim and Agilities combined for 3. Now the onus completely on Cloud9 is they're going to come in looking for their own miracle.
That should not have happened. C9 had such an enormous advantage there, and they end up throwing it away. Surefour did so much, but here comes C9. It's not over quite yet, but they are flooding onto that point. They don't necessarily have the best position here. Surefour having his hands full of Grim Reality. Grim Reality finds him in the end. Immortals going to come back in a situation where I am still a little bit shocked that that went that way, because it was such a good opening by Surefour.
Yeah.
They went onto the point. They had everything in their favor, and it's Grim Reality bringing it back from the edge with Agilities. And I gotta say, if you're C9, you're not happy over that one.
You mentioned Grim Reality and Agilities, but it was honestly Hyped. Who threw the D.Va bomb and got 2 over Rib's shield, and pretty much he was one that opened up that team fight to allow Immortals to get back in there.
Well, what was cool about Grim Reality and Hyped, instead of going in to try to clean up and like making themselves exposed, they were playing peekaboo around those walls on the edges, coming in, getting one, going out, coming in, getting one, going out, and letting Hyped do all the stall on the point while they just got all the damage in. So yes, absolutely, it was Hyped self-destruct, and then his D.Va stall on the point. It made them much more effective, but you're absolutely right.
Hyped in general has had a very good day, period. Even going back to some of the series that we saw just a bit ago, where his D.Va play has very much been on point. But Immortals right now getting into it once more with C9. Early hook coming out here. Ethan on the Rib, Kai on the Nomi. And C9 gonna win the most out of that early exchange to start things off here. And Rulf, an engine of keeping people alive. Barely keeping Surefour in this. Some nice heals from that. And C9, they will get first control at this point.
Yeah, Mendo with another hook there too, takes out Verbo. It seems like this map really agrees with Mendo's Roadhog. He seems to have some of his best games on Control Center here, opens it up with 2 beautiful hooks, looks for a third, and they're going to try to press this advantage. They want to pick off some stragglers. This is something that teams need to learn a little more often, is like when you disengage, you have to fully disengage. What are you really gaining by meandering out here?
Surefour gets Verbo early on in this fight. Being down Lucio, not where you want to be in King of the Hill in particular. Late hook, though, does come out here from Agilities. Putting Rib in a pretty rough situation here. Rib still swinging the hammer. Somehow alive at 50 HP. Gets healed up by the rest of C9. C9 will be turning that in their favor. Not really stifled at all by that Immortals attack.
Yeah, and Immortals has to sit all the way back and spawn until Nomi comes up. They're going to have to slow push this up their own stairs to get through their own door. This is the Cloud9 kind of pressure that we know on King of the Hill maps, where they just hold very far forward. Now they're going to feel like extra safe doing it because they've got the Mei there, and fail that, they've also got a Zarya ult. But look at this, they're going to creep around. Immortals flipping the script on him, goes around the mid side.
And this is big. Hyped is going to catch him with the surprise Graviton. Pulls in 2 immediately. C9 activating Immortals trap card. The Blizzard comes in for good measure. That was great positioning coming out from Immortals. And again, I don't think C9 realized, oh, as we turn this corner, there's going to be a Graviton? Yes, there's going to be a Graviton. You are all going to die. And Immortals still having to fight a little bit for the cleanup here, but they should be able to get control of this point. And it's their first control of the round.
Immortals is a cool team on some of these maps too, because when a lot of teams would just decide to bully their way in, like, oh, they're holding there, we got to go fight there, they decide, well, let's just try somewhere else, and they try all these different angles, and it usually ends up working out for them. They cannot give that point back up for free, though. I do not agree with that. They had 6 members up, no one could put a toe on the point.
And here comes Surefour. Blizzard is out already. Ends up picking up 2 as a result. Immortals, they're just going to need to back out here. But no, they recommit with the nano boost. I'm not sure about that at all. There's down so many people. I mean, no matter how hard Nomi swings that hammer, probably not going to happen. Time to let it go. And Immortals are going to have to back out. But the problem is that it's 97%. I guess they feel compelled to go in. It's no winning here, I guess, either way.
As much as we were praising their positioning before to roll around and take that point, the fact that they rolled it all the way back to their own stairs and then gave up the point without a person on it, they had 6 alive, and they just let Cloud9 bully them out of position and take it back. So if you're going to fight while it means something, fight while the point is still in your control. I don't agree with what happened there, but decisive map. I think we're in for a pretty good set, ZP, if this is any indication.
Well, I do think so. However, I do think that there's a lot more pressure on C9 to win this than not. Immortals does have that 1 game advantage from coming in on the upper bracket. So for C9, they really have to come out quite strong here. And no, we do have a switch up. Surefour going to be coming in here on the McCree to start the night market, going to take up the task of Cowboy v Cowboy versus Grim Reality. And we'll see if it works out here. But here's the thing that's really been messing with Surefour. It has been hyped. Hyped has been in his face constantly in a way that I think I would have liked to have seen Complexity do when Nicholas was on the Diva. So Surefour gonna have to tread lightly here. A lot of times gonna have to give a lot more attention to hype than perhaps he would like. And while he's doing that, Grim Reality will potentially have more room to get on C9. And there it is, the flashbang over the top. Farewell the rib. What coordination there between Agilities and Grim Reality.
That's beautiful. That's 2 very decisive first kills. Kaikai already gives up the ghost himself. That is a 6-0 in about 10 seconds. That's before the point even unlocks. You cannot win a fight faster than that.
Well, I'm gonna draw attention to the synergy there, where Grim Reality and Agilities, the comms were on point. As soon as the flashbang hit over the top, the hook was already on its way, and there was nothing, just nothing that Rib could do, short of having a really good tilt up to avoid the flashbang, which easier said than done. That said, Rule finding himself on the wrong side of Ithan early on this fight. Immortals just smothering this doorway, not letting C9 get out cleanly. They weren't expecting it, and Immortals should be able to hold this next fight.
Well, Nomi takes down Mendo. There goes Verbo off the edge as well. Very back and forth as it alternates. Rib is the one doing a lot of damage for this team. Is he going to have the support as he tries to mow in here onto the point? It is, like I said, very back and forth. The flankers are coming from the right side. Rib finally goes down as he was all alone, and that's all they need to chase down and clean up the remainder of this Cloud9 team.
Immortals doing quite a good job here. 43%, and remember, for C9, This is about as must-win as you get, so they really need to dig deep and find a way of getting through here. They don't really have the resources to do it, so they're going to need either Surefour to get a quick 2-tap or Mendo to get a quick hook. That's where they need the contribution to come from here, because they're not going to win this on ult economy. Here we go. Mendo coming in from the back line, going in on agilities, does end up winning the fight. I'm not even sure how. He was the second one the hook, still worked out for him as Surefour cleans up in the back. C9 pulling the miracle that they needed, and they are not out of this yet.
And there's no way that should have happened. They tried an Earthshatter there. It got absolutely no one. You saw the huge advantage they had in ultimates. That all goes back to the 6-0 really clean wipe that they got in the very first fight. That's the advantage that you get about halfway through the map. And now look at ults. They should not have lost that fight. They got 0 value off most of their ultimates, and now Cloud9 in a very decent spot.
Well, the situation is completely reversed here, where C9 that was really bankrupt in terms of ults, and everything was going the way of Immortals, but Immortals, they used a bunch of ults there, got nothing with it, and even worse, C9 didn't have to use ults to win that fight, so this has gone from bad to worse here for Immortals. They might be ahead in progress, but they're absolutely behind in this game right now, and now it's going to be up to them to find the hero plays here, where, again, I look to Grim Reality, I look to Agilities, and certainly I look to Hypothize and playing. But an Earth Shot from Rib, threaded the needle, knocks down 4, and C9 just going to feast off of that opening.
Absolutely crushed. They do take down Mendo eventually, but that is a trade they will make every single day. A monstrous Earth Shatter. That's not even really on Nomi either. There is a lot of people in front of his shield there getting knocked down as well. So a 5-man Earth Shatter, 66 to 66% just about now. Cloud9 had to use a lot there, but they are going to have a couple ults of their own, and to secure a fight like that, you're fine using some ultimates there. They're going to have some more. Now we have to see who can win this vanilla battle. Not going to be the Q showdown that we've seen the last couple fights.
Vanilla battle now on the way between both teams as Hex is just set up. I mean, Wolf will have the nano boost here, but this is must win for Immortals. If they lose this fight, they're not going to get another opportunity. They come in with the sound barrier. C9 and they give up a little bit of space here. They lose Rib early on, and this is okay for Immortals. They have the nano boosted Cowboy. Grim effectively picking up 2, moving in and around, and Immortals not going down just yet. This Hex is going to be coming down to the wire.
Nomi with a really nice Earth Shatter there. I mean, who knows what he would have gotten Surefour on his Deadeye there, but it would have been probably something. They had him segmented off, though, so the Earth Shatter goes down to knock him to the ground. That is going to be another flip of the script here as Immortals takes that fight and now still has the ultimate advantage. Grim and Hyped have theirs at the ready. No ults in sight for Cloud9. They won't have another ult this game.
Well, C9 quickly goes around the backside. They don't get picked off. That's a nice engage from C9 to at least get here, not get tripped up by the gateway, but there's still a lot of ways for Immortals to come in and win this fight. And Hyped, looking to go to the back line, ends up getting charged out, not going to get the hero self-destruct, but while this is going on, Agilities is going to work in the back, has already picked off Surefour, Grim Reality on the Atom, 4 kills here from Immortals, and Hex, they are just about there. C9 struggling to stand the point, and it is not going to be enough. Immortals taking Lijiang Tower in about as close of a game as you can get, and now just 1 game away from winning their first Alienware Merry Melee.
And it's going to be so important if they do, and I want to get Slasher's input on this, but to beat Cloud9 twice on the way there, Cloud9, who a lot of people think, myself included, probably the best team in North America at the moment, that would be enormous.
I mean, yeah, Immortals is playing really well right now. I mean, you've got to give it up to Nomi for having a great tank game, and especially Hype and especially Agilities on how well that they are both zoning out Surefour and all the hit scan play that he's had. And Agilities, I would say, has gotten the better of Mendo between the 2 Roadhogs in this matchup. I think the big thing for me is maybe Cloud9's team fighting has been better than Immortals, and they've been winning the first point, or they've been winning second team fight in a more clean fashion. But Immortals has had better ult conservation throughout all of these games. Cloud9 has been using too many ults to win team fights, or they've been using too many ults when they've already gone down 1 or 2 members when they didn't need to. At the very last round there, they had the 99% lead already to, I think, 70, and Rope decided to use Ana ult, and Kakai decided to use Diva ult at the end when they were already down 1 or 2 people. They could have just died anyway. They already had 99 and then gone in that last team fight with at least something to work with instead of having to play from behind too much. I mean, I understand trying to just use ults because you want to win the team fight. You don't want to risk using 1 or 2 and then losing it anyway. But you can see at some of these times where if they had 1 or 2 extra ults at the secondary team fight, they probably would have won that map.